Well, good evening, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Welcome into On the Hunt tonight. We have a wonderful show for you guys, and I am super excited to see all of y'all here on this beautiful Saturday night. And are y'all ready to get weird? Because that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to get real weird tonight. And of course, I have one of my trusty sidekicks over here. I've got Mark Machek, aka Cryptidville, in the studio with me tonight, and we're going to get into Dogman hybrids, cyborg cryptid consciousness containers, and more. I know that's a mouthful, right? But we have some interesting theories, some new developments, and some things we're going to really dive deep into tonight when it comes to the cryptid research and Dogman sightings and the encounters that he and I have both had as field researchers. We've got lots to discuss tonight. So thank you guys so much for being here all week. We had a wonderful week of shows. My gosh, we had some great shows. And we have a lot of good shows next week, too. I've got a full schedule. We're going to start off next Monday with Cindy Goodbreak. I hadn't had her on the show in a while. And Cindy's going to come on Monday. And we've got, I think it's called Hoodoo Mountain, where she lives up in, I think it's Utah. We're going to talk about that. She's been spending a lot of time down in Texas, East Texas. And she's in Oklahoma tonight doing some Bigfoot research with Miss Tanya from the Oklahoma Bigfoot Museum out there. And so we're going to get into a lot of Bigfoot and Dogman talk on Monday with Cindy. So y'all come and see me on Monday. Of course, on Wednesday, we have Nick Sylvester coming back. And yeah, like I said, we're going to have a great week of shows next week. So if you guys would like to follow along with my shows and check out my social media links and all that kind of stuff, go over to my website, please. It's called thecryptidhuntress.com. And you guys can find my calendar of events. I did update it. I have one event coming up in January, the movie premiere in Alabama of The Vanished that I will be a part of. I am in that documentary, actually. So y'all come see me at that. And then I have I think it's the West Carolina Comic-Con in February. And then we have the Georgia Bigfoot Conference in March. Okay. So yeah, y'all go check those out. And if you'd like to support my work, please go over to my Patreon and become a member. And I want to thank all of my members of Patreon and of the Hunt Club here on YouTube. You guys are the best. And also, I do have a shop on Etsy. It's called War Woman Goods. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Okay, let's get to our show, because this is going to be an interesting one tonight. Okay, tonight we are going on the hunt with Mark Machek to explore cryptids reportedly utilized in super soldier programs. And these creatures might be cyborg consciousness containers. It may sound weird to you guys, but at this point, nothing's weird to me. Could glowing red eyes be a sign of AI creatures? And do all roads really lead back to ET? As I've said, and the head of my research team has always said, well, we're going to give our opinions on all that. Plus, we have an update on 3-Eye Atlas. We are patiently awaiting its arrival, right? Or not. I don't know. Some of us are, some of us aren't. But there have been a lot of new developments in that. Even today, there's been some new developments in 3-Eye Atlas. So it may connect to some of these cyborg cryptids as well. I don't know, y'all. We're going to get into that tonight. So, of course, to help me talk about all this crazy stuff, I have Mark Machek here. He is a longtime field researcher, cryptid field researcher. He lives near the land between the lakes up in Kentucky, one of the hot spots for Dogman activity and Bigfoot activity and everything else you could ever imagine. And I can't wait to have a wonderful conversation with him tonight, you guys. Please help me welcome to the show our good friend, Mr. Cryptid himself, Mark Machek. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Jessica. Hi. Thank you for having me on again.
Well, of course, you're one of my favorite co-hosts, of course.
Well, thank
So,
you. And I just want to welcome everybody in the chat and thank them for showing up for the fashionably late on the hunt show with the Cryptid Huntress.
I'm always just a little fashionably late. It's because I get caught up talking to my guests backstage. That's what happens usually. Okay, we got a lot to talk about, right, Mark?
Yeah, we've got a lot of interesting theories and stuff like that we of course want to go over a little bit before we share share with the audience.
Oh yeah, we well, I've had a lot of time to. I don't have a lot of time, but I've had time to ponder a lot of things. I've been pondering lately. Some of the things that I've been dealing with out in the field, like the red eye shine. This is something that comes up all the time with like the red eyes, the glow and shine. And the first time that happened, when we had red eye shine or glow or just red lights, period, in the field, we attributed it to ET activity, okay, to ETs and stuff out there, and so I don't know. I think that it's worth exploring, talking about cryptid cyborgs and robots and things like that. I think that we might want to touch on that a little bit tonight, okay, because I think that it is a possibility. We're dealing with the transhumanist movement right now, okay. Why would there not be a trans that sounds weird, a transcripted movement as well, instead of just humans? I mean, if they're building super soldiers, they're probably not all flesh and bone, right?
Well, I think, and I just want to make this statement. This is for entertainment purposes only, and is only
Yes.
my opinion. And I encourage everybody to do their own research and form their own opinions and hypotheses. And if you look back when Elon Musk originally started talking about different technologies, one of the things that he mentioned was that nanotechnology would eventually not give a person just the ability to change different aspects about their physical body, but it would allow them to, in essence, they could transform themselves into a butterfly, was his big catchphrase when that came out.
Hmm.
So, you know, um, when you start delving into uh, nanotech and nanites and all that good stuff, I mean, um, and some of the ideas, come from, a combination of, I mean, everything that Hollywood puts out is a form of soft disclosure. And then you have things like, if you look at what was his name? Uh, Ken Panama, he had his little creature that was swimming around in the sewer or the water
Yeah,
supply or whatever.
he
You
about
know,
got me. He had us all on the edge of our seats.
well, if you look at the whole concept from that
Hmm.
whole um, aspect, if you have some kind of foreign thing like nanites that get into your body, they could essentially change you into whatever. And it's not. We'd like to think that it's, oh well, I'm going to change into this or whatever, but do you really have the control to change over into whatever you're thinking when you do that, or is it controlled by somebody else? Or and then it gets into things like, how does that affect you from a mental, psychological, spiritual aspect? Because at the end of the day, if it turns out that you have little or no control over that, there's no telling what somebody could ultimately be causing you to do without your consent or without your permission
Mm-hmm.
and or without your knowledge.
Oh yeah, it's like being demonically possessed, but with AI, kind
I
of.
don't know nothing about no demonic possession around here.
I mean, but it kind of is. It's almost like something taking over your body, like Venom. You know that movie Venom.
Yeah,
If you think, look at it like that. I mean, and most of us have seen that video of that man walking down the street and he gets mugged by somebody, and then that shadow figure, like he gets knocked to the ground or
yeah.
something. That shadow figure comes out and beats up the mugger, right?
Hmm.
And then he goes back in the guy's body. It's like, well, I don't know if that was CGI or if that was real, but same concept.
Well, in my opinion, when I view that video, I would say that it's pretty safe to say that that dude had some kind of attachment
Oh yeah,
that was
yeah.
there with him, and you know he may have not even known it.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. He might have been walking home from the bar and he had a hitchhiker on him. I don't know.
Hmm.
You know, that's what Barry talks about that a lot on our shows.
Oh yeah.
About the attachments that people have and the earthbound spirits. That didn't look like an earthbound spirit. That looked like Venom to me. Some kind of. It just looked dark,
Well,
but
to
it
me,
saved him.
yeah,
I guess
to me, it looked kind of like a like a werewolf.
it did. Huh.
And then
Well.
you think about it,
Ooh.
then you have that what was that dude's name down in Florida? The one that shot the video of the Dogman.
Blue.
Yeah,
That's
Blue.
Blue.
The video. Now,
Fort Pierce, Florida.
yeah, my opinion on that is that I think that these things have the ability to move so fast that it's almost a blur, and
Yeah.
if you don't have you know a way to catch that, you're never going to see it.
Mm. Yeah, like technology. You mean like videos and things like that?
Yeah, yeah. Like if you
Yeah.
don't have like a video camera that's running a higher frame rate, you might not you might not even catch it.
Man, this is coming from an IT expert, right? Like
Mm,
you,
I
that's
don't.
what
Mm-mm.
you know, somebody that knows IT better than I do. Let's just say an expert is someone who knows a little bit more than me. Okay. Or the average person. I mean, I guess I'm an average person. Okay. But I wanted to take real quick. Let me take a commercial break. Gary Spike Sr., thank you so much for that super sticker. That is so sweet. You're not only an amazing moderator, but that was very sweet. You support the channel that way too. So thank you, Gary. And I hope you're doing well. And yeah, I hope I get to see you out in the woods again one day, Gary. We need to go Bigfooting together. Okay. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of things that are picked up on camera that we don't see with our naked eyes, Mark.
Oh
And
yeah.
and that includes that video of the orbs. Gosh, if there was any kind of way that I could cover up my son in that picture, in that video, where I came home from the meadow the night that those two gentlemen, my two teammates, had been walked into the portal, and around the same time they were walking through the portal, we had two orbs in my house, floating around my son's head, dancing around my son, and we have it on a video. It was around the same exact time as the portal incident.
Well,
So, oh, go
the
ahead.
the thing with when you start removing things from a video, then that's and this is just my opinion, and I understand totally what you're saying about removing him from the video.
Hmm.
Um,
Or covering him up. I meant
yeah,
like
yeah,
he had on his pull-ups underwear. Okay, so I can't show that to the public.
yeah.
All right,
But
just can't.
when you do that,
Hmm.
you're in essence editing that video,
Exactly.
and that
Yeah.
will automatically detract from to some people, it will automatically detract from the
Yeah.
authenticity or the probability that it's not edited to include something that's not in
Yeah.
the video.
I guess nobody will ever get to see it. Sorry, y'all. But just trust me, it happened. Look, my good friends and my teammates have seen the video, but I can't show it to the public because of that. I remember I tried to show it on when I think it was at KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I had a show over there for a while, and the producer was like, "Oh hell no!" He
Mm.
was like, "You're not showing that," you know. So But anyways, the point was that my ex-husband, my son's father, could not see the orbs except for through the phone, through the screen on his phone. But my son and I could see them with our eyes. So it was really interesting. It's a frequency thing, Mark, right? I mean, that's what I think.
Well, and this is just my opinion. So one thing that I've been seeing a lot of here lately is there's a you remember back in the 80s there was a Sony Handycam that supposedly came out that would allow the filmer to um, basically see through people's clothes. I know that sounds extreme, but there
Oh,
was in fact a a Sony Handycam model during that time frame that came out that was able to do that.
no.
And
What?
also during the early 80s when they first came out, remember the BlackBerry phones?
Oh, yeah, I had one.
There is a BlackBerry version that came out that also they say, and they are people that have looked into it, relate that it can actually see into alternate dimensions.
Mm,
So
wow.
this goes kind of back to that whole die sign and die goggle thing, along
Yes.
with, recently within the last 6 months, I came across a guy that supposedly disappeared after he developed a lens. It was just a square piece of glass, it looked like. And when he held it up on what he was filming, you could see things that were not there as he moved it away. So it was
Oh,
actually able to refract and I think it could be a frequency thing.
mhm,
Could also be a vibrational thing
mhm.
with the way that it's hitting that glass, but it has to
Whoa.
be a specific way. It has to that lens has to be a certain way in order for it to do that.
Man. So energy, frequency, vibration, that's what it's all about. And you just got to get on that right frequency and vibration to, or the same frequency and vibration. Whether it's right or wrong, that's up to the viewer. Okay. It's wrong with a capital R. Uh, but but yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of videos going around that I've seen. Like there were older videos of like there's one of a woman who I don't know if this is real or not. Can't tell these days, Mark. But there's a woman who had a VHS handheld camera or something, and she seemed to like seems like she went into like the back rooms or something. I don't know. She went through a portal or something, but it's all on these cameras. I don't know. Like I said, uh, these days it's hard to tell what's real and what's CGI in somebody's art project.
Well, another thing with that is, you know, we talk about all the technological things that are coming out. I mean, it's to the point where they once again, I'm using that word,
They.
but the 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 relation is that it's the advertising companies and entities like that are utilizing a lot of this technology, and it's been released that they have the ability to basically interpret a person's thoughts
Mm-hmm.
from a device, and it's all done from frequency. But what the real catch is that they don't want it to be a one-way thing. They want it to be where they can implant thoughts
Wow.
into a person's mind
Mm-hmm.
from a device. And when you start getting into that,
Wow.
you know, I mean, could you imagine laying down trying to go to sleep at night and you're getting hit with these ads from all these different companies that you have no control over and you can't stop?
I think we already are. I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't, maybe we're not all, we don't have that Neuralink, not all of us yet. Okay. I'm just kidding. I don't ever plan to get any of that. Okay. But I mean, I've talked about that before about like, you know, waking up in the morning and wanting a McMuffin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That kind of a thing. Okay. So we're talking about this on like a scale of like us just regular everyday, our everyday lives, common, normal Americans and people from all over the world. Right. But you're talking about this technology that could very well be included in, let's just say, robots and cryptids and things like that, like
Mm-hmm.
cyborg. You know, we're talking about humans becoming cyborgers, being cyborgs. But what about, you know, we talk about these Dogman breeding programs, the werewolf breeding program, the Bigfoot breeding programs. If these things are real, which I believe they are, and I've talked to numerous whistleblowers over this, I think they are real. Okay, we've even remote viewed some of this stuff. I mean, the technology that's out there is way beyond anything we're shown. Okay, and of course, we're seeing. I know this is kind of like covering a lot right here with this umbrella statement I'm making right here, but it's like we've got these red eyes out in the field that's associated with cyborgs sometimes, things like that. How do we know that some of these creatures that we are encountering out in the woods aren't some kind of cyborg, you know, dogmen, things that can read our thoughts, like what you're talking about, things that can, you know, read. It's like the predator out there, like they can see our body temperature, our heart rate, like all that kind of stuff, because they've got some kind of AI technology inside of them, and we don't stand a chance against them.
Well, I think ultimately what we need to look at is what defines a robot or cyborg, and how that would apply to the cryptids. You know, I mean, when in the old days, if you told me that there was a robot cryptid, I would
Yeah.
initially come to I would envision a, you know, cryptid that was, you know, like had like in the Arnold movie, the original Terminator movie, where it's like got half of its face is like robotic, or
Right.
you know, different stuff like that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be that way.
Mm-mm.
Nanotechnology is taking it to a new level where a an entity or even a person could be, and I'm going to use this term because there's no other way to put it, because it is an infection, because
Okay.
it's a foreign body, it's a foreign object in your body. So in anything that that doesn't belong there, anything that falls into that uh, classification, in my opinion, would rate as an infection.
Okay.
So it's possible that these things could have those nanites in their body to a level that would allow them to do different things that are not normal. And those are programmable miniature robots at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ooh.
interestingly, I happened to pull up some patents that I
Okay.
wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Well, before you talk about the patents, I want to thank a couple of people, of supporters who
Sure.
have given some super stickers. So Jojo, thank you so much for that super sticker. I appreciate your support so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being one of my moderators too. I do appreciate it so much. And let's see. Also, Kent Baxter. What's up, Kent? Says, hi Jessica. What did you think of that Bigfoot video I sent you? The one that was talking. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. I'll write you back on Facebook. I think it was on Facebook. I did see that. It was from that comment that you left on the last show, and I thought it was really cool. Yes, it. I was questioning if it was CGI though. That's all. That's all. But we'll talk about it later. Okay. We'll definitely do that. And also, Midwest Night Watchers, thank you for gifting those memberships. That is so sweet. And you have been a member of the Hunt Club for 7 months. So thank you so much for your support. And yeah, thank y'all so much. Okay, so you got the receipts with some patents. What kind of patents do you have, Mark?
So this first patent I wanted to talk about It is titled Method of Recording and Saving of Human Soul for Human Immortality and Installation of it. I'm just going
What?
to read I'm just going to read this first paragraph here because it's the most important. And basically
Oh my
it
God.
this is how the abstract reads. It says the inventor shows that a human soul is only the information in the human brain. He offers a method for rewriting the human brain on electronic chips. This method allows for the modeling of a human soul in order to achieve immortality. The method does not damage the brain, but works to extend and enhance it. Now, the interesting thing about this patent, it was abandoned after 2005, or yeah, no 2009. It was abandoned. So that's how long this patent has been in existence. But what abandoned means when it comes to patents is this. It says, and this is a kind of a definition thing about patent abandonment. And it says
Okay.
when someone abandons a patent, they voluntarily relinquish their exclusive rights to the invention before the patent's full term ends, causing it to lose legal protection and enter into the public domain.
Oh,
This can happen through intentional actions such as failing to pay required maintenance fees or unintentionally, like missing deadlines to respond to the U.S. Patent Trade Office action or pay the issue fee after a patent is allowed. Once abandoned, the invention can be freely used, manufactured, or sold by anyone without legal repercussions, and the patent holder forfeits any uh, potential revenue from licensing or enforcement. So,
wow.
um, that to me sounds like this dude was offered a suitcase full of money.
Yeah, right. Yeah, go live down in Australia with your wombat farm now. Do you know you know what I'm referring to, right?
Uh,
Mel from Mel's Hole. Remember that?
mm,
The government basically paid him to keep his mouth shut, gave him a monthly stipend to go live out his dreams at a wombat farm down in Australia.
wow.
Never to come back, but he came back and then he ended up dead. So yeah, he couldn't stay away from Mel's hole. Holes. He had two holes. But anyways, wow. How did you find that? Is wild. That is wild. I was gonna ask how you found that, but I mean, that's that's wild. How to trap a human soul?
Well, it's not really trapping, but that is part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So, so if they can capture, they use the word capture a person's soul and then transfer it into electronic format, and then in, via a chip,
Wow.
then they can pretty much do whatever they want to. But the most interesting and scary part about that is what happens after the soul is on there. Who's actually controlling that? So that's where we come up with this next patent,
Okay.
and it
Oh,
is by a, it was developed by a different dude, and basically the name of the patent is this: it's the method of inducing mental, emotional, and physical states of consciousness, including specific mental activity in human beings. So this
whoa.
is this is the short abstract, and it says method having applicability in replication of desired consciousness states in the training of an individual to replicate such a state of consciousness without further audio stimulation, and in the transferring of such states from one human being to another through the imposition of one individual's EEG. superimposed on desired stereo signals on another individual by inducement of a binaural beat phenomenon. So what does that mean to the regular person? So basically what this dude is doing is using could be even just like a thought form, and transferring that into a, a signal, which is a
Hmm.
vibrational wave, and hitting another individual with that and inducing them into a psychological state, with or without their consent.
Hmm.
I would assume that, in a development phase, for this patent, everything was probably consented to, but there's always that weaponization factor that we talk
It's
about, where
true. Yeah.
people want to use stuff for purposes that it's not originally
Hmm.
intended for. So, another thing to think about with that is, once a person is, and this is just the pot of soup, if you will,
Yeah.
um, that we're presented with this. So, if you have if you're captured a person's soul onto a microchip, how hard is it from the microchip level to cause that person's soul to have one of those altered states of consciousness or whatever, or to force that person to do or think or feel or act on whatever you want them to,
Yeah.
through sound frequencies or whatever. But the other interesting part about this is the same dude created another patent.
Golly, can I say something quick, briefly, before we
Sure.
move on? Because you mentioned the binaural beats. Now, I'm a longtime trained remote viewer, and I know a little something about mind control techniques. And that's something that we had to train in. That was like required training, was like doing the Monroe gateway process, and that's binaural beats. And it's basically, it helps you like do the astral traveling and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's wild. I mean, this is all just mind control, and we know how deep the claws. We don't know exactly how deep the claws are in, but we know the claws are in pretty deep when it comes to the programming of the masses and stuff. So, I mean, this is for this is for entertainment purposes only. That's what I need to say. Uh, but this is very deep. Okay, and I have not heard of these patents before, so thank you for the information tonight, Mark.
You're welcome. And this other patent, which is I find kind of interesting, because it goes
Golly.
back to the whole thing of, um, what happens to most people when they experience, a cryptid encounter, or they have a
Hmm.
alien abduction or something like that. One of the common things that people mention? They want to go to sleep, right?
Oh God, that's me. I've mentioned that before, just when we have our cryptid encounters out in the field. Something makes us want to turn in for the night before
Well,
it happens.
could be this. So this patent is called
Oh,
Method of Inducing and Maintaining Various Stages of Sleep in the Human Being.
oh my God. You know what? Okay, we're blowing the lid off tonight, Mark. We've got it all figured out. I'm just kidding. But that's wild, because that is when I've had like the ET experiences, and I'm doing that in quotes now because I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Um, but when I've had the two times that I can recall where I had ETs in my house, my room, they put me to sleep. Okay. I don't live too far from the troop herd corridor, where people were talking about the similar stuff, having these ET abductions with military involved. So all this would make sense that, or aliens, demons. I don't know. They could be your local military guys. I don't know. Okay. Oh gosh, man, this is for entertainment purposes only. Again, go ahead, Mark.
So,
Golly.
I mean, if you want me to read the abstract, I will. It's very short.
Yeah. Please.
It's just basically says a method of inducing sleep in a human being wherein an audio signal is generated comprising a familiar, pleasing, repetitive sound modulated by an EEG sleep pattern. The volume of the audio signal is adjusted to overcome the ambient noise,
Oh my
and
God.
a subject can select a familiar, repetitive sound most pleasing to himself.
Oh my God.
So I know that wording is geared towards, the the probability that this technology is going to be used as some kind of sleep aid in the future, because as we know, everybody wants to make a little money because it takes money to operate in this world, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then we have that whole weaponization factor that comes into play. So I think that it could be used for a nefarious purpose at some point.
Oh
And
yeah.
that patent's still active and it's
Hmm.
ongoing. And it was issued in 1970
Hmm. Interesting. Hmm.
originally.
Well, when was Project Stargate and Project Jedi? When were all those programs going on? The 1960s, I think. Probably through the 70s. Probably
Yeah, I would say
beyond.
so. I don't
Yeah.
I don't have exact dates.
Interesting. Man, it's all about a lot of this is about mind control. And when we're out there thinking we're chasing, I think maybe this is kind of the it's I'm seeing why I was kind of urged to do a show about all this tonight now, because we're out here thinking, like I always say, I feel like I got it all figured out, but then I learned something else. Then I learned that I know nothing. Okay. And maybe sometimes when we're out there thinking we're chasing something natural and it's, flesh and bone versus the woo camp, and we get in these arguments about that, but it's something probably totally different than both of those. Okay.
Well, the other thing that we have to consider, you know, if you look at the whole thing of when you have groups of people out, and this goes back to the question, why do half of them see a Bigfoot and the other half of them see a raccoon or a
Or a squirrel.
squirrel or
Yeah.
whatever, you know? So, uh, it's not out of the realm of possibility that even though we're out there and we're thinking there's nothing there, that there could be something there that we just aren't seeing for whatever reason, and it could be that we're being affected by some sort of technology or some set of, and I've always had the mindset that these things, for whatever reason or for whatever purpose, have the ability to emit certain frequencies, and I think that they can affect people with those frequencies.
Hmm.
But what really throws them off is when those frequencies don't have the desired effect on the person that they're throwing them at,
Oh
and
yeah.
that really confuses them.
Yeah.
And I can make that statement from my own research.
Oh yeah. Yeah, not everybody is affected the same way, I'm sure. Especially people who have been training and stuff like that too. I mean, I know that sounds I'm just thinking this out loud. I don't know if this is, facts. Like I said, it's for entertainment tonight, y'all. Um, but it's like people who have been training in things like the mind control techniques and stuff and do the binaural beats and been doing this for years and stuff. I wonder if it maybe doesn't affect those people as much. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe it does. I don't know.
Or there's another factor that's coming into play that um, lessens the effect of the frequency that they're throwing out at the person. So, you know, without getting into a whole lot of deep dive on that,
Okay.
that that recipe that I sent you is what I'm referring to.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay. So there are ways to combat this, and it could be like like medicinally, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, and
Naturally, though.
yeah, and the thing about that is when you start getting into that realm, you get into the whole thing of being perceived as practicing medicine or giving
Mhm.
medical advice, and that's just not the thing that we want to be involved in.
Right.
And you know the things that I'm talking about, everything that I talk about, strangely enough, is on the internet.
You can find it yourself, y'all. We can all find
Yeah.
it. Yeah. It's
and
just a
and
matter of doing our own digging too, but you're putting it out there for us to know where to look. So thank
yeah,
you for that. That's what we need.
and that's kind of what makes it a little bit frustrating when you start talking into people. They want to, well, tell me all your secrets, and I'm like, go find them for yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
the information's out there. We just have to put forth the effort.
Well,
And
and here's another thing, Mark, is like we're as Bigfoot and cryptid field researchers, we get caught up, especially podcasting and stuff. I know you're not as much as a podcaster. You come on my shows and stuff, but I have a lot of guests on. You're more of a field researcher who I am super blessed that you come on my show with me sometimes to come talk with me about this stuff. But as a podcaster and a field researcher, we get caught up kind of debating on, okay, flesh and blood versus the X factor and like stuff like that. But it's way deeper. If we want to figure out, get to the real core of what's going on out there, we need to have these kind of conversations
oh yeah,
and not just put our head in the sand and be like, okay, well, this is just too weird. We can't talk about it. And oh, I might get in trouble because you're gonna have the 3-letter agencies watching you if you talk about this stuff. I don't. So okay. What's
well,
new?
I'll just tell everybody, and I'm sure there's people in the audience that know this. Heck, there might even be people in the audience that did this. I've been kicked out of some pretty well respected Bigfoot research groups because of my views on things, and that's fine. It just shows me that they're not at the level that I am, and I'm not claiming that I'm at some elevated level. I'm just saying that they haven't, either they haven't put in the work or they haven't been doing it long enough to experience the things that I'm coming across or whatever. And that's fine, and I understand that, and I'm not butthurt over that, but it does make it a little bit frustrating when you're trying to learn things and people want to come at you like that.
Yeah. Well, while a lot of people are still debating as to whether these things are even real, we're
Yeah.
past that. And that's the thing that I loved about my Bigfoot research group is those guys, when I met them for the first time ever, they weren't debating on whether these things were real. They weren't even trying to prove they were real to anybody because they already knew it. And they had gone on to the next level of like communicating with Bigfoot and stuff. And Bigfoot Door says, I'm not only the president, he said president and a member of his Bigfoot club. That's amazing. Yeah. But okay, so you know this is, I know this is kind of like what we're talking about. If somebody just were to tune in right now and be like, what the hell are they talking about? Cyborg Dogman. Okay. Think about it. Okay. It's we're not saying that there are cyborg cryptids, but we're probably saying there's cyborg cryptids out there. Okay. There's cyborg
Okay.
humans, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Haley, thank you so much for that super sticker. Thank you for the what does that say? Studio candle fund. Thank you so much. I will go get a new candle tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Haley. That's so sweet of you. And real quick, I also want to thank Tim Mothman as well. Thank you, Tim, for being here. Great show as always, Jess. Hit the likes. Thank you, Tim. Man, I wish we were drinking a blood orange beverage right now. That's my buddy Tim, y'all. And anyways, okay. Sorry, Mark. I totally interrupted you.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
So as
Had to
far
do a
as
commercial break.
sure, that's fine. So as far as the whole cyborg thing
Mhm.
goes, we have to, and a lot of people hear that word, they don't really understand what it means. From a Hollywood standpoint, cyborgs have always been
Right.
depicted as a melding of uh, either a human or an animal and a machine.
And a machine.
And
Yes.
the interesting part about that is, you know, just because we have nanotech and nanites and all that stuff, and a lot of people think that it's those are microscopic machines, and it accomplishes the same goal.
So the tiny machines, the micro machines, if you're calling them that, micro machines. And then we
Yeah.
got like the large robots. Okay, so we got like the tiny ones that are microscopic, and then we got stuff like I just came up with the AI today. Okay, like big old machines that will eat you. Like imagine seeing that at a Showbiz Pizza when you were a kid. Okay,
Well, here's another thing to think about as
yeah.
well. What if you have something like that and it's got those nanites in it?
Oh God, like a
And it,
machine with nanites in it.
well, let's say it originally didn't start out as a machine,
It was an
but they
animal.
yeah, but they implanted it with the nanites, and
Mhm.
it's actually operating under the influence of those nanites. It's kind of the same concept as venom.
Mhm.
Venom is some kind of black goo stuff that infiltrates the human body and turns you into what's his name? Uh,
I don't know.
I can't
From
remember.
the movie Venom,
Yeah, yeah,
Ben would know.
yeah.
What,
I'm
that
trying to
Tom
remember.
Hardy guy or whatever his name is. I don't know if that's his name.
I'm trying to remember his name. He's got a so every time I hear it, I just have to laugh. But
Oh, I can look in the chat. Somebody probably knows. I don't know.
yeah,
Symbiotic, a symbiote. I remember that. Is it symbiote? Is that how you say it? Tom Hardy. Thank you, Shelley. It is Tom Hardy. I always thought of Tom Hardy as being that tattoo artist. Maybe that's Ed Hardy. That's Ed. Sorry. Okay. Tom Hardy is a not. He's pretty easy on the eyes, actually. I don't. I don't mind watching movies with him in it. He's cute. But oh man. Yeah,
Eddie, that's his name.
Eddie. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, Eddie Brock. Thank you. Over. Is that it? Eddie Brock? You were watching that chat, weren't you, Mark? Eddie.
yeah. I was looking at it.
I'm thinking of Tom Hardy. You guys are trying to come up with his name as a character, right?
I'm not actually in it, but I can see it.
Yeah. That's funny. Uh, I mean, if people are getting let's say injected with these nanobots or whatever it is, either knowingly or unknowingly, I mean, we talk about these super soldier programs, and where they allegedly, had that super soldier program where they dropped off pairs of male and female chimeras, basically of humans, lions, bears, and wolves. And there were two that got dropped off in East Tennessee near Cott County, where a couple of people were mauled to death by packs of wild dogs, they said. But I don't think there were packs of wild dogs. And how do we know those weren't some kind of, creature like that? When they say they were like injected with all these different things, it's like I don't even know how that works, Mark. I don't even understand it, right? It's almost like they become werewolves and werebears and werelions. I mean,
Well, the interesting part about that is so, and we run. I'm trying to think of a way to bring this up without getting you stricken.
yeah, it's all good.
So, when you have a compound, I'm going to go at it this way. When you have a compound
A compound.
that is
Okay.
genetically or that is engineered, that is patented, that is injected into a person, regardless of what that compound is.
Okay.
If that is an intrusive compound or something that modifies the host, then what does that do to the host? It makes them something other than what they originally were. And from a legal standpoint, because it does that, it essentially makes the patent holder of that compound the owner of that new creation, because that
person?
new creation, yes, because that new creation is inside of that host.
So
And I'm using the word
what?
host. I'm using the word host
I know what you mean.
because it's applicable not just to humans, but also to animals. So let's say you take a wolf and you inject it with some kind of compound
Wow.
that's going to turn it into a bipedal giant Van Helsing type werewolf, and you inject it with that stuff and it turns it into that, then at the point that that compound is introduced into that wolf's body, it no longer is a wolf.
It's like a robot now, I guess.
It
It doesn't have control of itself.
it's a hybrid of
Okay.
some type,
Oh.
or a chimera, however you want to word it. So
Oh. Okay. So
because that compound modifies that wolf could from a legal standpoint, could become the property of that patent holder.
dang. Man. Okay. So basically, when we're talking about compounds, and there was about 5 years ago, a lot of people had a compound put inside of them. What speaking in codes over here,
I was
kind of.
trying to use
I know,
the
right?
whole cryptid angle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not, but what you're talking about is actually important. So I'm
Mhm.
just gonna let you go there. It's your show.
Yeah. Well, because it's, that means that, so the people who received that compound, whether they wanted to or not or whatever, I mean, oh God, trying to word this the right way. So they are basically, their bodies now are property.
They're no longer human.
They're no longer human. There's a word for that. I forgot. Somebody put it in the chat, Moondog, or somebody put it in there earlier. It's like some kind of, it's a whole new, instead of like they've changed. They're not human anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise. Okay.
And they could potentially be property of the patent holder.
Okay. Good Lord. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. Okay. So, and then we're pertaining all this to cryptids and the breed, let's just say the breeding programs, okay, that we've talked about so often. The Dogman breeding program, for instance. And, we talk about like, oh, Dogman hybrids. And it just seems like we just kind of, I personally throw that word around kind of loosely, like, oh, they're Dogman hybrids. But we're getting down to like what exactly a hybrid is now. Okay. When I think of a hybrid, I've always thought of like, well, maybe it's like, they took like something that was, original to this earth, right? And they've bred them with something else. And that's what I thought a hybrid was. But now we're getting into the AI aspect of all this and the technology behind it. And it's like, well, there's some kind of injections they're getting. There's some kind of compounds that they could be taking that turn them into something else as well. So it's not just breeding.
And that doesn't make them any less of a hybrid. It just means that the hybridization process is different. So I guess it just depends on how you want to look at it, and how you're being inclined to legally look at it as well.
Yeah. Well, this is all very eye-opening tonight. Golly, especially with those patents. Okay.
And I'm sure there's more stuff out there that's a lot worse than that. But another thing I wanted to mention now. Um, this is something that I'm going to tie into the whole thing. And at first, it may not seem like it has any bearing, but sometime back there was a series on Netflix, and the name of the series was called Preacher. And I do not recommend that anybody watch it
Oh, I
un,
heard about that.
unless they have unless they have uh, good spiritual thick skin, because it deals with a lot of things relating to God and Jesus, and but a lot of it is perverted. That's the only way to put it. Um,
Hmm.
so if you don't have thick skin, don't start watching it. Just
Okay.
but the reason why I mention it is because
Go
there's a
on.
few episodes in there where a company was going around to different people, and they were allowing these people to sell them portions of their soul. And they had developed a way to take a fraction of a person's soul, and they would pay them X amount of money for whatever
Ooh.
for that.
Oh,
And if that concept has been thought about and put into a TV series like that,
they've already done it.
I'm pretty sure that it's already in existence somewhere, that they have the ability to do that. So if you
Yeah.
look at the whole thing from the perspective of, let's say they'd lab create, some kind of uh, container, i.e., a
Container. Humans are
container,
containers, right?
yeah,
So are cryptids.
and that container just happens to be a 10-foot dog man with,
Mm-hmm.
you know, razor sharp claws and, all these physical attributes.
Yeah.
At some point, they're going to want it to have a consciousness to drive that. So what do they do? Either um, they, uh, and this is valid from the perspective of, the majority of people that encounter these things say that Dogman appears to have intelligence, and that it
Yeah.
has a purpose, and that it does things purposefully.
Mm-hmm.
So it would not be above thinking that they might capture somebody's brain
Jeez.
and implant it onto a chip and insert that into the container, which is the dog man, and then put all this other stuff to work in it as the pilot, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of missing people. A lot of them go missing out of our national parks. And where do we see a lot of Bigfoots and dogmen? In our national parks. And they also talk about how, and I say we also talk about the people. I'm going to say the caliber of some of the people that go missing out of the national parks are scientists and stuff like that,
Hmm.
smart people. And we're like, well, maybe they're taking them off planet, okay? Because what you're talking about pertains to the secret space programs as well, with the fragmented souls, the fragmentation of the altars and the mind control and all this stuff. It's all connected, I think. Okay, it's my opinion, just for entertainment purposes only. I think it's all connected, and they do. I just had Arkeem Ra on the show and Bill Tysing on the show Thursday night. That was an interesting show, y'all. Go back and watch it if you missed it. But we finally got to. I finally got to like the core of that too, because I'm remote viewing all these targets for him, and it's like he's doing all these off planet missions and stuff, and it's really interesting because my data matches up with what he remembers. But I'm like, but how does this work? Do you know what I mean? Like, how does all
Hmm.
this work? How does this you traveling off planet and all this stuff? Like, we got into that conversation on Thursday, And it turns out what he said was, it's just like those movies like The Matrix and Avatar. You watch these movies and, they put the person down in a chair, like the Montauk chair, kind of. And they hook all these like nodules and stuff up to their head, their brains, and put a thing in the back of their neck or whatever. And they send them off astral projection wise. Now that actually connects to what Dr. Ram was saying as well, about it not being outer space, but inner space. Stuff like that too. So I don't know. I mean, there's just all these connections that we're making here, and with this, it would make sense, Mark, that that's connected.
Well, the more disturbing part of all of it is, how does that affect our perception just from day to day? Because we only see 5% of what's actually there.
That's right. That's right. Well, I find it really interesting though about the fragmented souls in that show. I mean, I want to go watch that show now. Okay. What is it called? Creature?
No, Preacher.
Oh, Preacher. I thought you said creature. Okay. Preacher.
No, it's Preacher. It's about a preacher man.
Oh, and Joanne said it's Preacher. Yeah. Okay. So it's about selling little pieces of your soul. I mean, how this is like it circles around to that question, like, what does it mean to be human? That I ask all the time too. What does it mean to be human? I mean, they glamorize selling your soul to the devil in pop music and, famous musicians and things like that. I mean, it's like, I sold my soul to the devil, is what they talk about, and they get riches and fame and fortune and stuff. So it's like, it's really sad for our youth who are looking up to some of these people who glamorize that. And they have a movie like that. Well, maybe if I can just not give my whole soul away, I can sell a little bit. It's not so bad, right?
Yeah, that's what the premise is within that show is.
Wow.
That which, there are people that go all in, for their family or whatever. But there's also people that go, fractional, just to get out of debt or whatever. But
fractional. Take 1/16 of my soul. No.
Well, actually, that's what some of them do.
Just a little bit. No. Absolutely not. It's not. I mean, that's just my opinion. It's not worth it. Okay.
Well, here's the scary part about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is what if somebody does it without your consent?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's something to think about. With like what I mentioned, all the missing people that we have. Like, where are they going? I mean, I know it's talking about trafficking, things like that, but I mean, clones. Think about all the clone bodies and stuff. We talk about clones.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. My brain is like it's kind of spinning right now. My head's spinning thinking about all this. Talking about the giants too. It's like getting the DNA samples. Like, let's talk about the giant of Kandahar, right? I remote viewed that and it was like, well, they were getting a sample for DNA purposes, for cloning purposes or whatever. And think about, they can get the container. All they need is the consciousness to go in it, right?
Yeah.
The soul, that's all they need. They can have all these bodies. They can clone all these beings. But where do they get the souls from to go in there? So, food for thought.
It's all very interesting.
It is. Cyborgs, huh? Man, I think I bit off more than I could chew tonight with this one. Okay. Because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, Mark.
Oh yeah. It's definitely interesting. And the bad part about it, or a bad aspect of it, is, not very many people are going to be forthcoming about, what's actually going on with this stuff, because they don't want people to know.
Right. But they're putting out movies like that, like the Preacher show.
Yeah.
putting that out there, but it's almost like Black Mirror. It's like it's so absurd to the normal person. They're like, that can't be real. But these things are real. Can be real. Let's see. RJ says, I can't help but think of the Netflix series Altered Carbon. It had to do with storing memories in chips, which were then implanted into new bodies in order to be immortal.
Same thing.
I remember that show. Yeah, and what about Westworld and things like that too? You know, we're talking about like transhumanism, robotics, and I guess you call it robotics, right?
Oh yeah.
But you know, that's been around for a long time. That show, I think there's a version that I watched back in the, you know, was that 2000 and I want to say like 13, 14, 15, I don't know. And I heard there was like another version of it before that.
Yeah, I think it was in the 60s even.
Yeah.
It's all very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been really interested in the whole consciousness transfer aspect of that when it comes to humans and the secret space program. See, I've been focused on the secret space program stuff because I work with a lot of the people that have been parts of the secret space program, and it's always kind of baffled me. Is like, well, where does this technology come from? You know, like there's actually patents out there for this stuff that I was not aware of. I just thought it was some kind of ET technology, and we'd never hear about it.
Well, the thing about it is, you know, we have to look at it from the perspective of, you know, where are these people getting these ideas, and what's driving the idea? You know, why would you even want to do that? You know, I mean, I understand the quest for immortality, but you know, immortality is
sounds boring to me. I wouldn't want to be immortal. I'm just saying. Can you imagine? I mean, they got all these actors and stuff. I've even what is that guy's name? Tyler Hansen or something? I don't know. He's been the fittest flat earther. I watch him sometimes, and he's showing evidence that some of these celebrities are not only playing double roles, and he's showing like their skin, you know, moles and blemishes and stuff like that. Their faces are like, he's showing evidence that these people are like playing double roles. One, they'll die and then they'll come back as, you know, play another role and all this weird stuff. But he's like, look, they've been here through history. They're a bunch of vampires. Like he literally says they're like vampires. Like, I don't know. What if they're just cyborgs? What if they're not vampires at all? What if they're just
cyborg vampires? Or what if they're
cyborg vampires? We're laughing, but it's probably true. I mean, I'm giggling.
I guess there's only one way to find out.
Oh man, I don't want to find out. I don't know.
Have to get in touch with somebody that's dissected one of them on a table.
Oh man, I know. It's always you always got to get the body right. It's like with the Bigfoot. It's like some people are like, well, you're never gonna know they're real until you get a body. You know. I don't know. We live in such a strange matrix, don't we, Mark?
Oh yeah, it's definitely strange. And what's even stranger is the people.
It is. It is. Hey, I'm having fun. I'm having fun talking about this stuff, but it's also quite terrifying too, because I mean, let's think about it in terms of like being out in the field, because you and I are out in the field a lot, and I'm out there. I'm chasing Dogman and Bigfoot, and they're chasing me, and I don't know. But there have been times we've been out in the field and we see the way I describe some of these red lights that we've experienced out there are like robotic. Yeah. That is a word that I use to describe the lights out there. And it could be eyes, like what looks like eye shine, but it's robotic. I mean, could that be cyborg cryptids out there? I mean,
could be. Could very well be.
Well, we attributed it to extraterrestrial activity. That's what we've always attributed that to.
Well, that could have a cyborg, factor involved with that as well. Because I mean, the Greys historically,
Yeah.
are, you know, refuted to be um, like clones or
Hmm.
you know robotic.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people think that dogmen are extraterrestrial. Some of them. Um, I don't know. This is like way outside the box tonight, by the way. Okay. Like I know like we like to go outside the box. This is way outside the box. So thank everybody for being here and like being a part of this tonight. Because I think that it's good that we push the boundary sometimes, Mark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've had my questions about that though, because okay, I don't know, just from people questioning whether dogmen are extraterrestrial, I'm taking it a step further, saying I think that they're cyborgs, some of them, and I think the Bigfoots could be too. I mean, when it comes down to the eye shine versus the eye glow, you and I have had this conversation before about the eye shine versus eye glow. What if some of it is kind of robotic? It's AI.
Well, if it is, then that would explain. You know, most people when they talk about um, um, self-illuminating eye shine, um, they tend to want to uh, associate that with a way for them to see, or a night vision factor or something like that. But you know, uh, I think that there could be other factors that come into play with that as to why they might be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, if they are just using it for like night vision or thermal vision or what have you, because of the fact that we just don't know.
I don't know nothing about nothing. That's one of my favorite sayings because it's true. I really don't know anything. Um,
But what's interesting about it, like I had mentioned on the original show, that we talked about self illuminating eye shine,
mhm.
you know, we have to remember that they're not exposed to these artificial light sources that we are, or the same artificial light sources like we are. And,
Yeah,
they wouldn't be, in my opinion, affected so much by blue light. And I think that that has a factor in why they might be able to illuminate their eyes.
hmm. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Speaking of, yeah, I just bought light bulbs yesterday, actually, and I have a question mark. Where did all the old light bulbs go? Do they not sell the old school light bulbs anymore? I could only find LEDs. Like, are the other
You
ones like
can you
outlawed
can
now or something, or what?
you could find them.
Yeah.
I actually saw some in the dollar store
Oh, did
the
you?
other day,
Well, I need to go
and
back to the dollar store.
um, but yeah, you're right. The majority of them are over to the LEDs, and
Mhm.
LEDs are notorious for emitting a large amount of blue light.
Oof. And can't they spy on you too or something like that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist. I've heard that somewhere. I heard that
I don't
for
know.
entertainment purposes only.
I mean, they've got all the mechanisms in place to do that without having a light bulb that would do it. But
I got to worry about my light bulb. Watch me while I'm in the shower and stuff. Okay, great. Keep the lights off. People
turn
are
the
going to
light.
start, get all the light bulbs out of the house, kids. We're going candles, full candles.
Well, you think about it. If
It's
there's
probably
one
better for you.
if there's one thing, you know that I am in agreement with the Amish. Now, the Amish, they don't have electricity in their homes. They do not use anything electric in their homes, the majority of them.
Smart.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a reason for that,
Yeah.
that they understand things that we may not fully understand.
Hmm.
Some of us,
Yeah.
and that's all I'm gonna all I'm gonna say about that, because I've seen some stuff, when it comes to electricity, that is just not normal. It's actually can act as a pathway.
Oh. Well, I mean, a lot of us are living in smart homes. Okay, not me, but a lot of people, and a lot of things are smart. But who are the real smart ones? The ones that don't have all that stuff, probably.
Well,
So
you have to ask the question. I mean, you look at people that own these social media platforms. They If they have children, they don't allow their children on them. You have to ask yourself, why is that?
yeah.
Because they understand what it's designed for and what it does to your mind.
Hmm. Yeah. Hey, kid, get off your notepad over there. It's the only thing that's keeping my son quiet right now, by the way. Okay, so, but yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you got to wonder. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, what does the future hold for all of us though with all of this? Okay, because it seems as though we're going into, like, we talk about the transhumanist movement. Now we got like the transcripted movement, if you want to call it that. Okay, but it's man, we've got three eye atlas coming into our atmosphere pretty soon or something. I mean, what's up with all this? I mean, is this all, could this be connected in any kind of a way? What do you think?
Well, it could be, but you know, I have to. I'm kind of weird when it comes to things. I ask the questions that people don't ask, and you know, you have NASA that's supposedly sitting on some of the best photos of Three Eye Atlas that have ever been taken, and they're not releasing those to the public. They've got before dates and after dates where they have released photos and stuff like that. Some people say that that's a conspiracy. Some people say it's, oh well, they need to do this and that to the photos, and before they can publicly release them. So and it could be legit. It could be a conspiratory situation. But at the end of the day, you know, they come out and they say, "Oh, well, it's this and it's that. It's a comet, but it doesn't have um, any of the normal comet attributes." I think they're up to 17 different attributes that it's exhibiting, um, that have been logged with this thing, that are non comet like, and they're still saying that it's comet.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is personally, um, but I do know this. You know, we we have the government and the UAP disclosure movement and all this stuff that's been coming out, and they've been talking about, we have UFOs, we have aliens, and this, that, and the other, and they've already told us that. Why is it so hard for them to say, hey, Three Eye Atlas is this or that? So I look at not necessarily what's being said, but what's not being said, and I think that it could be uh, the factor that they know and they don't want to cause any kind of alarm. And another thing that you have to ask yourself is this: you got Elon, Avi Loeb,
Happy
um,
Loeb. Yeah,
all these people
the
coming out and
experts.
they've got their opinions on what Three Eye Atlas is. You've got NASA coming out and they're taking all these videos and photos and all this stuff. All these people, different organizations have their opinion, but there's one organization that you're not hearing anything from:
Who's that?
the Space Force.
Space Force. That's right. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have Nick Sylvester here on Wednesday, and we're gonna talk about that. I don't know if he works with Space Force or what. He's got some kind of connection. That is interesting though, right? Like where's the commander of Space Force? Why are they not doing press conferences? I mean, that's a good observation, Mark.
Well, it just, to me, that's one
Space
thing that
truth.
catches my attention when you have a potential for some kind of outside interstellar um, threat, possibly, or non-threat. They should
Yeah.
address that. And I understand from a military aspect that they're not necessarily going to put out information about that, but they could put it out to the uh, to the powers that do have the ability to narrow down and translate that information into a publicly viable message. So I don't know. It's
Hmm.
just kind of interesting. Just an observation that I made.
I mean, I hope that it's not filled with cyborg dogmen and reptilians. I mean, could be. My remote viewing data said about that. I've remote viewed it twice, and both times it was similar data. And I was tasked by two different people with this blind target,
Hmm.
and it's like, I mean, it literally was reptilians. Reptilians. It didn't seem like it was anything good. Sorry, it didn't. And I've got there's all sorts of people that are like, oh, it's benevolent and it's good, and they're coming to awaken humanity, and it is awakening humanity, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not here to, a lot of people think it's fake too, but I mean, we have like, I follow BP Earthwatch Jesse. I like his channel over on YouTube. You guys go check him out. He's got some good videos, and I sent you a link, Mark, earlier today to his latest Three Eye Atlas video, and I took some still shots, okay, from his video. So I'm giving him full credit for this, y'all, because I think he had lightened them up a little bit. But these are some of the latest pictures. I think this is from the Hubble telescope. I think he said. I can't
Hmm.
remember, but this is, I mean, to me, this is really interesting. Uh, this is what it looks like now. Okay, and it's almost like now, Mark, did this thing get hit by something? Was it intercepted? I can't remember exactly what all happened. I haven't been keeping up with it.
I don't know if it's been hit by something, but I can relate that the the person that I'm following with this, the photos that they're taking, they do not look like that. So I don't know if they're taking pictures of something else. Yeah, the pictures that I'm seeing, they kind of look more like that.
Well, I think that was the original picture, and then he may have done some color correct. What do you call it? Filters and stuff.
Yeah.
Filters and stuff. So these are. I have not seen any pictures that I thought were like super legit, that were like the close ups and stuff. I think that people are just into the CGI stuff or AI. but but nonetheless, there's something out there. Okay, there's something out there. I mean, I was told by a friend of mine who's kind of a good insider for me, who contacts me occasionally. He told me it's one of ours. It's one of ours. How do we know that's not Space Force up there?
Yeah,
I
it could
mean,
be.
and
But
nobody's talking about it.
yeah, and if it is ours, it makes sense that they wouldn't talk about it. But the thing that we have to look at with that is I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, all you guys up in the Senate and Congress, Mr. President, if I have one message for you all, it would be this: the jig is up.
And we know the president watches the Cryptid Hunters channel. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Oh,
for real,
man.
jig is up. There's too
Yeah.
much stuff going on for you guys to continue to put or attempt to put the blinders on us with, fictional data, fictional, narratives, and all that stuff, you know. And I understand that you may not want to tell the truth and why you may not want to tell the truth, but at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to set you free is to tell the truth.
Yeah. Is it so hard to tell the truth? I'm just saying. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think that we have something coming? Do you think it's going to come to Earth? Because that's kind of what I was getting from what I was listening to Jesse at BP Earthwatch today. It sounded like it was coming here. Like it's changed course or something. I don't know.
Well, it's not only has it changed course, but it's also sped up. And I was hearing that it was emitting gases from 12 to 17 different locations on its form, but it wasn't losing any mass, and that's totally unnatural for anything in space. So in order for it to release any kind of jetted emissions, it would have to lose mass in theory, according to standard physics, or even astrophysics, because they were able to track Oumuamua and all these other objects, and as they moved through and had emissions, they lost mass or whatever it was. I forget what the actual factor that they were using to talk about that, but there was an increase in that reduction, but there hasn't been that with this. It's been zero. So that's like totally weird.
It's all weird. It's all weird. I mean, like I said, I've remote viewed it twice, done several shows on it. I think that it's not a comet. I don't think it's a comet.
Definitely not.
I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's a comet. I think it's something, but I think it's humans on board. Okay. Or humanoid or something. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of these things flying around up there with all sorts of beings on them and stuff. And that's just the one they're focused on. Either to awaken humanity or to scare the crap out of us, or both, or awaken us by scaring the crap out of us. That's probably more like it.
I don't know. From my perspective, fear can keep you alive. I will say that, but fear at the end of the day is not a ultimately productive attribute to have within yourself, because as we know, and this is going to be a movie quote and you're probably not going to get it, but fear leads to pain leads to suffering, and suffering leads to the dark side.
Oh God, what is that, Star Wars or something? Golly. Luke, I am your father. Yeah.
He actually did not say that, according to
the Mandela effect, right?
The Mandela effects. I get so.
But see, that's I remember that line, and I watched that when I was a kid. And I haven't watched it since. So, stupid Mandela effects.
Of one and ruining everything for us.
Yeah, somebody just hit a button and reset things, I guess. That's weird. But yeah, I mean, there's no point in any of us being. I mean, what can we can't do anything about it anyways. If it's real or if it's not, or if there's bad Draco reptilians on board that want to come take over the Earth. I mean, they're already here, so I don't know what the big deal is.
Yeah, and that's why I said what I did. I mean, why? And at the end of the day, it's all about control. We know that, and the only thing that I can say about it, from my perspective, is this: is like you said, if it is a spaceship full of reptilians coming here to have a snack, there ain't a whole lot you can do about it. They're gonna be here. They're gonna come here if they come here. So the only thing you can do is prepare yourself for that, and know that there's been this big debate where people question, are aliens demonic? Are demons aliens? And I'm not going to go out on that to say 100% that they all are, but the likelihood that they are demonic outweighs them not being demonic.
Damn.
So it's kind of like, what is it going to hurt for you to spiritually prepare for that? If nothing happens, then nothing happens. If it turns out that that's what they are, then you're maybe a couple steps closer to being able to defend yourself against them.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, irregardless of whether you look at it from a biblical, a spiritual, or whatever, however you want to look at it, it all comes down to the manipulation and control of us through our energy and life force. And I don't think that there's anything wrong in trying to prepare for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my opinion. And in that opinion, having a little bit of faith in Jesus and God is not going to hurt anything.
Exactly. Gotta have some faith, y'all. And I think we're all going to be fine. We're all going to be just fine, y'all. Okay. But I mean, they could. Aliens could be cyborgs. All of them. Demonic cyborg. I don't know. Can cyborgs be demonic? Couldn't they?
They could.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you look at demonic possession, it basically is a demonic entity or an entity that wants to have a physical platform to do what it does. So that's why they attach themselves to people and try to possess people and all that good stuff, is because that's what their goal is to have that physical platform to operate from.
The container.
Correct.
The container. That's who was that? That was what is that? What is that guy's name? Oh gosh. Hold on. Not Lear. Gosh, what is that guy's name? That said that. He said that he had read some top secret documents that said that humans are merely containers.
You're talking about Bigelow, are you?
No, the guy with the glasses. Golly, why can I not think of his name right now? He did the UFO alien disclosure. Can't remember his name. Anyways,
Greer.
I think it was Greer. Was it Stephen Greer? I don't think it was Stephen Greer. No. Oh, Barry's in the chat. Hey, Barry. He'll probably know. I can't think of his name. Okay, maybe somebody's got it in here, but I think that he said that he had read some like highly classified documents or something, and it said that the aliens see humans purely as, I think it's aliens see humans only as containers.
He's
Okay,
saying John Lear.
John Lear, maybe it is John Lear. I don't think it's John Lear though, but it could be. Dr. Greer, I don't think it's Dr. Greer. I'll think of his name in a minute and I'll blurt it out. Okay. So maybe it's one of them. Anyway, it doesn't matter, really. Doesn't matter who it is. But he did say that. He was hesitant to say it too, and the guy was like kind of like trying to pull it out of him because he said something like, well, he knows what aliens think humans are. He said, what do humans think of aliens? He was like, well, they just think that we're containers. He finally said it. And that just means that we're just bodies. What's so interesting is like we're containers, but we have souls. We're not just containers. Okay. Being human is not just being a container. Okay. It's having a soul and stuff. And I'll be darned if you're going to sell a 16th of your soul. Who are they selling their souls to, by the way, in that movie, in that show, The Preacher? Are they selling their souls to the devil?
No, I would rather not get into that.
Okay.
Because
I was wondering if it's like science or like what?
No, it's okay. a company that's owned by a specific country.
Oh, a company
that's owned by a specific country, and I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I don't want to get.
We won't get into that. Okay.
That could definitely get you a strike.
Oh no, we don't want none of them. Okay, we don't want those. But that's interesting. Okay, so it's actually like a big corporation. It's like, hey, I'll buy your soul. You can give it in increments. I mean, what happens when there's that saying. It's like, well, you're gonna lose a little piece of your soul or whatever. This is like, here, I'll give you a piece of the soul for a price. Man, what does that do to a person though? Because like you look at people who are like, you hear these stories of people that are in these MK Ultra mind control, projects or whatever you want to call it, who have had just been destroyed, like mentally, like just been through so much trauma. This MK Ultra, even Monarch mind control, stuff like that. It's like it just shatters their soul into a million shreds and pieces and stuff. And I guess that's kind of similar to what you're talking about, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Arkeem was explaining that too. It's like, they take pieces of you, and that's how some of the guys in these programs describe it. It's like they take pieces of you. It's like spiritually, energetically, astrally, all that stuff. It's not, we're more than this physical body, and they use that to their advantage, and you've got the patents for it right there. I'll be damned. I'll be darned. Bob Lazar, that's it. Golly, thank you, Miss Shivu. It's Bob Lazar, y'all. Shivu. I like that name. Thank you. It was Bob Lazar. I couldn't think of his name. I was like, that guy with the glasses. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Bob Lazar. That's it. 100%. Yeah. Man, this has been a deep thinking show tonight.
Well, that's, I tend to live in that realm, because I'm thinking about things from like I said, from a perspective that a lot of people they're just overlooking, and there's a part of me that says, I don't want to say anything because I want people to learn and dig and find this information for themselves, but there's also a part of me that says I can't do that because of the simple fact, because I understand that we're being bombarded with so much stuff that there's no way that any one person can find everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're all on these like hamster wheels in our everyday lives too. It's like a struggle to survive for a lot of us. And, and that's by design, so that we don't look into stuff like this. We don't question our reality, and we just, keep our head down and keep working. Right. Some of us don't, but some of us
Some
do.
of us question everything.
Yeah, we get in trouble too, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think every time I'm like, hey, you want to come on the show tonight? Let's see what we can do to get things stirred up. Basically, I kind of said that in other words, but yeah, what can we do to stir things up tonight? But it's the truth, you know. It's like just thinking outside the box is like it's like anarchy or something these days sometimes.
Well, that's the thing.
Seriously.
That's the thing is they don't want people to think outside the box. They want people to file in line
Yeah.
and do what you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And when you don't, that's when there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really say what my thoughts are on that because it involves a few choice curse words.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know, my encouragement to everybody is to try to be prepared. If you're gonna pick a mountain to die on, it would be the one. When it comes to protecting yourself, your family, and the spiritual well-being and soul well-being of the aforementioned, that would be the hill to die on. Because at the end of the day, if you compromise that, there's no getting it back
That's right.
until it's too late.
That's right. Yeah. Have you noticed that
In my
even
opinion,
and for entertainment purposes only? I'm just kidding. I mean, have you noticed? I've noticed. Listen, I kind of do work in like all the different communities, right? Like what I cover as far as my shows go covers like the UFO community, the cryptid community, the spiritual community, the secret space program community, and I don't know. I mean, there are when we use the term like gatekeepers and stuff too. Like I don't say that very often because I don't really see it that much, but occasionally I will, where there's like, you know, there infighting will start in some of these communities and stuff. I've noticed when people are, I don't want to say get out of line or you know what I mean. It's almost like there are within these communities where everybody's so open minded. Sometimes there's like so much infighting that goes on to where like nobody gets anywhere with any of the information, and they're not able to like continuously think outside the box because everybody's so busy fighting each other and stuff. You know what I mean? That's what all these every single community, by the way. And no shade to anybody, but I'm saying I've noticed it. And I've
before
had people try to suck me in some of those fights.
before you ask me my thoughts on that, you better think real hard about
I
wanting to
know.
answer
Oh, whoops.
because I'm going
Okay.
to tell it like it is.
Right. Well, but it's the truth though. And, you
Yeah,
know, we need to be aware of that. It's like, I'm not going to say there's like plants or like people in place, but there are.
I
Okay.
will. Yeah,
Okay.
there
That's
are
my opinion.
there are. Look, at the end of the day, you know, I'm very familiar with the gatekeeper term
Yeah.
because I've been called a gatekeeper
Hmm.
because people accuse me sometimes of sitting on information.
Okay.
And yes, I do that from time to time, but I don't do it in a malicious way. I do it because the people that are referring to me as a gatekeeper are money hungry dirt bags who are just trying to use my information to propagate their own pipe dream fame
Oh, yeah.
and try to be somebody and be famous in their own mind. And that's delusional. And I'm not doing that. I'm not contributing to somebody's delusion. So in my opinion, for me to do that is a bad thing. And there are people out there who have an issue with that. And there's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably, sugarcoat that a little bit, but I'm not the coating kind of person. I don't
You don't
sugarcoat a
have to.
whole lot.
I don't expect you to sugarcoat anything. I don't want you to. And that's what I appreciate about you is you tell it how it is and how you feel. And there's a lot of respect in that right there in my book. Because yeah, I just want the truth about stuff. You know what I mean? And I want I don't want it sugar coated. I probably used to, but these days I don't. I find more respect out of conversations when people don't sugarcoat stuff and they tell it like it is. So, and I hope that people can see me like that too. For the most part, I try not to sugarcoat stuff. I'm very diplomatic though, Mark. Okay, I
Yeah.
learned that from working in politics my whole life, but I'm very diplomatic,
I'm
but I
looking,
also try not to
I'm,
sugarcoat stuff.
I'm looking around here for the hammer or a hammer.
The hammer. You mean
That's
the
my
gavel? Are you talking about a gavel or a hammer?
no a hammer. That's
An
that's
actual hammer.
that's my diplomacy right there. I'm not a very diplomatic person.
I'll get the gavel, you get the hammer. Okay, how about that? Just kidding.
Stick your finger out here. Let me whop it a couple times with that hammer.
Oh
Wow,
man.
wow.
As long as it's just a finger, we're okay. But that's funny. Yeah, but I think it's wonderful that we're able to have these wild conversations, which are just us. I mean, we're putting out the facts we know it out here, where our experiences, and then we're giving our opinions, and we're not sugarcoating stuff. And it may sound absolutely ludicrous and crazy to normal everyday person, but it is what it is. Yeah, I want to know about cryptid cyborgs. Okay, what am I dealing with out there? What do we have in store for our future? If we have robot humans in our future, what about robot Bigfoots, Dogmen, and whatever else? How do we know they're not already out there right now?
Well, we don't, and that's just the. I mean, give you an idea. There's a. I think it was what was it? Kawasaki Corporation. They developed an all-terrain horse. This thing is like an ATV, but it has four legs. That's about the size of a horse that you can get on and ride it like a horse. And it can traverse all kinds of territory and terrain and all kinds of weather conditions. And you know that if they have those that are powered by, like gasoline engines or whatever, that they would have all you would have to do would be stick a head on this thing. It looks like a horse.
Really?
Yeah. I forget what
It's
it's called.
gas powered? You just put
Yeah.
some gas in it? Just gas up my robot horse. I'll be
Yeah.
right over.
I think it's either gas or it's electric. I
Huh.
can't remember, but it's
It's
yeah.
got horsepower. Is that 1 horsepower? No, I'm just kidding. That's weird.
But I mean it's hydraulically powered, so you
And it
got to
moves
think.
like a horse?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Well, you know what? That sucks because it could be weaponized like those robot dogs, but bigger. You know what I mean? See, when I think of stuff like that, it sounds so innovative and so cute, but it's not. It's not, because think about the damage that could do to humans. I'm just saying. When it's turned into a weapon,
Hmm.
just show me the blueprint so we can see the sweet spot, so we know where to aim.
It's called Corleo. It is a
Corleo. I am
four-legged
Corleo.
rideable robot,
Okay.
and
I'd call it Cornholio. Just kidding. Oh man. So it's a robot horse, basically, that you can ride and put gas in.
I'm looking to see here what it's actually powered by.
Okay. You just pull a
No,
string like a weed eater.
it's powered by hydrogen fuel cell.
Okay. What exactly is that? Is that like a
And
liquid you put in? Or a battery?
I would say that it's running off of hydrogen. It's a
Is that like
13
liquid hydrogen or like a
a
gas?
150 cc hydrogen engine produces electricity to propel the leg-mounted drive units with rear-mounted hydrogen canisters, supplying fuel to deliver low emissions and silent operation. An onboard GPS navigation screen guides riders by mapping a path up or down a hill while also ensuring the rider's center of gravity and hydrogen fuel levels. While preserving the joy of riding, the vehicle continually monitors the rider's movements to achieve a reassuring sense of unity between humans and machines. And that's an interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I've got it pulled up on the screen. Let me take this down. Okay, let's pull up some pictures of this thing just to get an idea. Well, there's Coolio, the rapper.
Going to Gangsta's Paradise, are you?
Well, it's mostly just Coolio. Hold on. There's got to be at least one picture of this thing. Where is it? It's just called Coolio, right?
No, it's Corleo.
Corleo. I've put Coolio. That may be what the problem is. Well, here's one picture right here. Ah, that looks weird. I don't know about that. That's from somebody's TikTok. Let me go back and type in the right words. Hold on.
It's
Coolio.
Coolio. Corleo.
Corleo. Okay, here we go. There we go. That's more like. That is so funny. Coolio came up tonight. Okay, so that looks. Oh God, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Kawasaki introduces Corleo, futuristic robot, rideable horse. Okay, man, imagine that. That's crazy. It looks like a motorcycle with legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a motorcycle horse with no head. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to pass on that one, Mark. That does not look fun to me. I mean, but how does it move? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it smooth?
I have not seen one in operation.
Huh. Let me see if I can get a video to come up. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't play a video. I don't want to get any copyright stuff. But let's pull up another picture. Kawasaki. Yeah, that just does not look very fun. I mean, it'd be novel. Do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be cool to. Mm-hmm. I don't know about having one. It just looks like it's not practical. Like, what would be the practicality out of that? Yeah. Is there any practicality in that? I mean, a wheel would be more smooth, I think, like a motorcycle. Makes you wonder. Kawasaki, this is weird. But good job, Kawasaki, on the creativity of it, I guess. But I'd rather have a motorcycle and then a horse. I'm just saying. Call me a old country girl over here, but I'm cool. I don't need one of those. What does the audience think? Looking at the audience's comments on this. C. Duke, thank you. It is for entertainment purposes only. Yes. Sovereign Cosmic Wildman said it's probably programmed to take people into subterranean alien base. Probably, like, I really don't understand what the purpose of that thing is. Unless it's like, traveling up a mountain or something. I don't know. It'll take you where your dirt bike won't. And you don't have to feed it hay, I guess.
Yeah, just feed it hydrogen cells.
Kent said, no thanks. I'll wait for the flying cars. Yeah, we're going to be waiting forever on those flying cars. They should have already been around by now. Yeah, Amy says it's kind of like a quiet four-wheeler, you guys. Quiet four-wheeler. I've almost died on a four-wheeler before. Okay, by the way. Yeah, I think most of us probably have. Yes, I ended up in the hospital from a nearly fatal four-wheeler accident. Okay, with me and my sister and my cousin. And yeah, but can you imagine if that robotic horse thing, that Kawasaki, like, got out of control? Like, I've been on a four-wheeler that went out of control and toppled end over end. But if you're on a robotic horse,
yeah,
that thing gets out of control. I mean, that's wild. I don't know what would happen.
That would hurt.
It would hurt. I know, right? Definitely wear a helmet, y'all, no matter what. But yeah, man. Well, this has been quite the conversation tonight, Mark.
Yes, it has.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's totally outside the box, and it's something that we have not really fully dived into before. Okay. And so I appreciate it, man. I appreciate this. I know I'm going to be pondering a lot more.
Oh, yeah. It's
over stuff.
always something to keep in mind.
It is. Dogman, hybrid, cyborg, cryptid consciousness containers, and more. Yeah, Jetsons, flying cars, and rosy days are here. Man, I don't know. I'd rather have a flying car than a robot horse any day. I don't know. How do you feel about seeing those robot dogs and stuff, Mark? Do they make you as uncomfortable as they do me?
Yeah, they're kind of mm, worrisome is the word that I'm going to use,
Worrisome. Yeah.
because not only can they be weaponized, and they are, they also have, they can videotape you and transmit that to home base, and there's no telling what kind of spy stuff they could put on it.
And weapons with bullets.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little concerning. I like your name, Stink Bug Potato. That is so cute. What if someone hacked your robot horse and took you somewhere else? Yeah, of course. Could you be galloping into the sunset into Mars one day or something? I don't know. Take you all the way into another county down the road. You go into a portal, and I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. We're living in strange days, y'all. Don't live in fear, though.
Technology truly is a mixed bag. It either can work for you, or it can work against you.
Yeah. And if you're in a hostage situation, you might want a robot dog come in to save you. I don't know. But if you're the attacker, you're not going to want a robot dog coming at you. William said, "Hey, William," he says, "they used one of those robot dogs today at a hostage incident, apparently.
Hmm.
So they can be used for good, but also watch your six when those things are around." I'm just saying. Yeah. But yeah, well, we just have another thing to add to the list of things to look out for in the woods, Mark. And
Oh yeah.
and so when we see these, red lights or because we get a lot of red lights, actually, red orbs, red lights. I mean that, and I'm not saying that all cyborgs are red lights, have red eyes. They probably have blue eyes and all that. I don't know. I mean, we've gotten reports of all these different eye shines and eye colors out of all these different Dogman reports and stuff. I mean, it doesn't mean they're cyborgs, okay? But they could be. Could be.
Could be.
That's right. Thank you, Steve Wolf. Please check your PayPal. I will, Steve. Thank you so much for your support. You're so sweet. I appreciate that. Okay. Well, do you have any final thoughts, Mark, on our cyborg cryptid consciousness containers tonight?
I would say just try to keep an open mind about the concept, and try to learn what you can about the uh, the topic, and try to prepare yourself, because I mean, evidently, whether we want it to or not, this stuff is coming.
It's here. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of, what's her name, the little girl on Poltergeist. They're here,
Carol
Carol Ann.
Ann.
They're
Yeah.
here.
They're here. Just be aware. That's all. Just be aware. I mean, honestly, when it comes down to it, I really appreciated what Dr. Ram was saying on my show. He was like, it's, and this is in regard to, like, he was talking about like altered states of consciousness and like just use it to your advantage, and like how far can you go, like, change your perspective on things. If you're ever in the situation where you are in an altered state of consciousness or whatever, like, use it to your advantage, right? Well, how can we use all this to our advantage? Maybe that's the way we need to look at it. Like, don't live in fear of any of this stuff. Use it to your advantage somehow. Maybe that's another conversation for another day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that would be my closing thoughts.
And I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, I think it's wonderful, Mark. And yeah. Jane says, have no fear and keep your vibrations high. Live one day at a time. That's right. Live in the present moment, y'all. Always live, be present in your life. Okay. I mean, it's easy to kind of get lost in the sauce sometimes, and like not think about the stuff, and it's fine. I totally get it. I don't like thinking about all this weird stuff all the time. I can't help it though, because I do. But I don't know. Just make a plan. Okay, have a plan, and don't live in fear, but just be aware. Yeah, and yeah, don't get a robot dog if you don't have to. That's just my advice. But anyways, but y'all, this has been a great show. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and I 100% want to thank everybody who gave out the super stickers tonight. Gary Spikes, thank you so much, and JoJo, thank you. Kent Baxter and Midwest Night Watchers, thank you so much for gifting all those memberships tonight. And Haley, thank you for the candle fun. Tim, thank you so much too, and Steve Wolf, thank you so much. And you guys, please come back and see me on Monday. I have Cindy Goodbreak on the show. Bright and early at 1 p.m. Eastern on Monday. We're going to talk about Hoodoo Mountain and so much more. She's out Bigfooting tonight. So we're going to hear all about that on Monday. Okay. So Mark, where can everybody find you?
They can check out my website. It's cryptidville.com. And I have a YouTube channel as well. I'm sure if you just search Cryptidville, it will come up. And that's the main two avenues of approach. All other routes proceed with caution.
Don't even try any other route. Okay. Just look up cryptidville.com.
Yeah. I do want to apologize to some of the folks that have friend requested me on Facebook. Primarily I only use Facebook to communicate with family. Every once in a blue moon, I'll go on there and look at a few things, but it's just too much. It's just too much.
Too much. I feel you on that. It's too much sometimes. Social media is be like that. Okay. It be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But hey, we're having fun here. I had a really good time with you tonight, Mark. And I thank you so much. Of course. It's so wonderful having you here once again. And thank you tonight to all my moderators, you guys too. Y'all are the best. And I appreciate y'all putting links and moderating tonight. I saw we had a spicy chat tonight. We had a spicy chat. So there were some moments of extreme spiciness, and I appreciate y'all for hanging in there. Okay. So anyways, y'all have a wonderful night. Okay. And stay safe out there. Watch your back. Don't live in fear. Keep your head on a swivel, and meet me back here on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central. And yeah, y'all have a wonderful Sunday. I know Barry's in the chat. He's got a live tomorrow afternoon. I will be in there. I am his one moderator, y'all. So y'all know I'll be in there hanging out. So y'all come see me tomorrow, but definitely come see me on Monday. And I will see y'all there. All right, Mark, thanks again. And
thank you.
All right, bye, y'all.